judges to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, as well as masters in chambers. My name is Sonia Sims, Press Secretary here at the Office of the Governor General, and it is my pleasure to be your orator this morning. The ceremony will commence at the arrival of His Excellency the Governor General, at which time you are invited to stand and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. In the meanwhile, please be reminded to place your cell phones on silent or in the off mode. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Let us pray. Sovereign God, creator and sustainer of all that is seen and unseen, how great thou art. Before you all creation bows. In your presence, angels veil their faces, and the courts of heaven stand in reverence. You are altogether lovely. In you, mercy and truth meet together, and love and faithfulness embrace each other in the kiss of life. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne, and from you flow sustaining grace. We thank you for our island home, Jamaica, for all that make her unique, her rhythms and rolling hills, her citizens and their creativity, her systems of governance and steadfast pursuit of the possibilities of the future. We praise you for those who frame her laws and undergird her well-being with truth and justice. As these your servants are sworn into office today, grant them your divine grace to function effectively as your ambassadors. Furnish them with abundant wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that they may fitly discern between right and wrong. Grant that the weight of your holy conviction will rest in their bosoms, that they will never fraternize with the enemy of our souls, but that their paths will be straight and filled with light. May your righteous spirit overtake them, that darkness of waywardness be dispelled by the brightness of truth and peace. As you pronounce your blessing upon them, do the same for Jamaica. Where we have been weak, give us strength. Where we have fallen, lift us up. Where we have been dead, give us your life. Until that great day when we stand before you, our eternal judge, grant that through our giving and our living, Jamaica will increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you very much, Reverend Astor Carlisle, Pastor Webster Memorial United Church, for invoking God's presence into this morning's ceremony. His Excellency, the Governor General, will now address us, after which the Governor General's Secretary will read the instruments of appointment as each judge is invited to take and subscribe the oath of allegiance and the judicial oath. Your Excellency.
The Honorable Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice, Honorable Mr. Justice Patrick Brooks, President of the Court of Appeal, Reverend Astor Carlisle, Pastor of the Webster Memorial United Church, judges to be sworn in, your family, friends, guests joining us online, good morning. It is both my duty and pleasure to swear in members of the judiciary. And in the spirit of this commitment, I also warmly welcome each one of you to King's House. The coronavirus pandemic continues to affect the court system, to disrupt our respective ways of life, and the way in which the swearings-in of judges are now being conducted. We, however, continue to observe the necessary public health protocols and remain vigilant for our safety. I share with Jamaica the admiration which the vast majority of our people, not only here in Jamaica but elsewhere, have for our judicial system and for the men and women who uphold this reputation, this high reputation, I should say. The Jamaican judiciary is the foundation of our democratic processes, and it continues to be secured by individuals whose dedication to preserve the rule of law is fundamental to its integrity. Mr. Andrew Jackson, President of the United States of America, former president, once stated, and I quote, "All the rights secured to citizens under the Constitution are worth nothing unless guaranteed to them by an independent and virtuous judiciary. End of quote. The promotion, or I'd say the appointment to higher positions of each one of you to be sworn in this morning reaffirms a couple of things: your competence in service, your commitment to nation building through work, and the understanding that the tasks assigned to you are not easy. Your position today is the result of years of study followed by years of experience, infused, of course, with your aptitude and attitude, your passion for precision and careful analysis of the principles of law which underpin a just and safe society. I want you to know, members of the judiciary, that we value and respect your role in our democracy and wish you as well, those who are being appointed, as you assume these new responsibilities. We want to encourage everyone to support the judiciary as it continues to serve our people in receiving justice. Congratulations to the judges and other officers of the court who are to be sworn in this morning. Among them are acting judges of appeal, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Marsha Dunbar Green, the Honorable Mr. Justice Evan Brown, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Crescencia Brown Beckford, acting puisne judges, Her Honor, Mrs. Anne-Marie Lawrence Granger, Mrs. Tania Mott Tollereed, Mrs. Sandria Wang Small, and acting masters in chambers, Her Honor, Miss Carla Thomas, and Her Honor, Miss Heather Carnegie. I wish each of you a very successful tenure. May I invite the Governor General Secretary to read the instruments, after which you will take and subscribe to your oath of office or your affirmation, whichever is applicable.
To the Honorable Mrs. Justice Marsha Velita Dunbar Green, the Honorable Mr. Justice Evan Jeffrey Brown, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Crescencia Antoinette Brown Beckford, greetings. Whereas subsection 2 of section 105 of the Constitution of Jamaica provides that acting judges of the Court of Appeal shall be appointed by the Governor General by instrument under the broad seal on the advice of the Judicial Service Commission. And whereas a vacancy has arisen, and whereas the Honorable Miss Justice Nicole Simmons has been granted vacation leave, and whereas the Honorable Miss Justice Paulette Williams has been granted vacation leave respectively, and whereas the Judicial Service Commission has advised that you, Marsha Velita Dunbar Green, Evan Jeffrey Brown, and Crescencia Antoinette Brown Beckford should be appointed to act as judges of the Court of Appeal. Now therefore know ye that I, Patrick Linton Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, reposing full trust in your zeal, ability, and discretion, do hereby, in exercise of the power vested in me by the Constitution of Jamaica, appoint you, the said Marsha Velita Dunbar Green, Evan Jeffrey Brown, and Crescencia Antoinette Brown Beckford, to act as judges of the Court of Appeal for the purposes of the Constitution of Jamaica during the period from the 12th April 2021 to the 31st July 2021. given under my hand and the broad seal of Jamaica at King's House this 7th day of April in the year of our Lord 2021, and the 70th year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. God save the Queen.
You missed it. Judge, please do the judicial oath, followed by the oath of allegiance.
I, Marshall Velito Dunbar Green, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God. I, Marcia Velito Dunbar Green, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God.
The judicial oath, followed by the oath of allegiance.
Thank you. I, Evan Jeffrey Brown, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God. I, Evan Jeffrey Brown, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God.
please do the judicial oath, followed by the oath of allegiance.
I, Crescencia Antoinette Brown Beckford, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. So help me God. I, Crescencia Antoinette Brown Beckford, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God.
To Her Honor Mrs. Anne-Marie Orlean Lawrence Granger, Mrs. Tanya Loy Elaine Mott Tollereed, Her Honor Mrs. Sandria Elaine Wong Small, greetings. Whereas subsection 2 of section 99 of the Constitution of Jamaica provides that acting puisne judges shall be appointed by the Governor General by instrument under the broad seal on the advice of the Judicial Service Commission, and whereas a vacancy has arisen, and whereas the Honorable Miss Justice Yvonne Brown has been granted vacation leave, and whereas the Honorable Miss Justice Callis Wilshaw has been granted vacation leave, respectively, and whereas the Judicial Service Commission has advised that you, Anne-Marie Orlean Lawrence Granger, Tanya Loy Elaine Mott Tollereed, and Sandria Elaine Wong Small should be appointed to act as puisne judges. Now, therefore, know ye that I, Patrick Linton Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, reposing full trust in your zeal, ability, and discretion, do hereby, in exercise of the power vested in me by the Constitution of Jamaica, appoint you, the said Anne-Marie Orlean Lawrence Granger, Tanya Loy Elaine Mott Tollereed, and Sandria Elaine Wong Small, to act as puisne judges for the purposes of the Constitution of Jamaica during the period from the 7th April 2021 to the 31st July 2021. Given under my hand and the broad seal of Jamaica at King's House, this 7th day of April in the year of our Lord 2021, and the 70th year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. God save the Queen.
I, Anne-Marie Orlean Lawrence Granger, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially
discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God. I, Anne-Marie Orlean Lawrence Granger, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Could you please do the oath of allegiance, followed by the judicial oath? Let's see.
I, Tanya Loy Elaine Mott Tollereed, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica, so help me God. I, Tanya Loy Elaine Mott Tollereed, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God.
Let's do the oath of allegiance, followed by the judicial oath.
Thank you, sir. I, Sandria Elaine Wong Small, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God. I, Sandria Elaine Wong Small, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
To Mrs. Carla Teresa Thomas, greetings. Whereas, pursuant to Section 112 of the Constitution of Jamaica, the Governor General may make appointments to certain offices connected with the courts of Jamaica as may be prescribed by Parliament. And whereas a vacancy has arisen, and whereas the Judicial Service Commission has advised that you, Carla Teresa Thomas, should be appointed to act as Master in Chambers, now therefore know ye that I, Patrick Linton Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, reposing full trust in your zeal, ability, and discretion, do hereby, in the exercise of the power vested in me by the Constitution of Jamaica, appoint you, the said Carla Teresa Thomas, to act as Master in Chambers with effect from the 3rd of May, 2021 and until further orders. Given under my hand at King's House this 7th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2021, and the 70th year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. God save the Queen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please do the oath of allegiance, followed by the oath, the judicial oath.
I, Carla Teresa Thomas, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica, so help me God. I, Carla Teresa Thomas, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
To Ms. Heather Antoinette Carnegie, greetings. Whereas, pursuant to Section 112 of the Constitution of Jamaica, the Governor General may make appointments to certain offices connected with the courts of Jamaica as may be prescribed by Parliament. And whereas Mrs. Tanya Mott Toller-Reid is acting in a higher post, and whereas the Judicial Service Commission has advised that you, Heather Antoinette Carnegie, should be appointed to act as Master in Chambers. Now therefore know ye that I, Patrick Linton Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, reposing full trust in your zeal, ability, and discretion, do hereby, in exercise of the power vested in me by the Constitution of Jamaica, appoint you, the said Heather Antoinette Carnegie, to act as Master in Chambers during the period from the 7th April 2021 to the 31st July 2021. Given under my hand at King's House this 7th day of April in the year of our Lord 2021 and the 70th year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. God save the Queen.
Please do the oath of allegiance, followed by the judicial oath.
I, Heather Antoinette Carnegie, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God. I, Heather Antoinette Carnegie, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, and that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and that I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usages of Jamaica, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Governor General Secretary, and congratulations to you judges on your appointments. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mr. Justice Patrick Brooks, President of the Court of Appeal, followed by the Honorable Mr. Justice Sykes, Chief Justice, will give their remarks.
Your Excellency, Sir Patrick Linton Allen, Honorable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice of Jamaica, my lords and ladies of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, viewing online, Reverend Astor Carlyle, pastor of the Webster Memorial United Church, says his family says he's the coolest dad. Judges and master of the Supreme Court who have been sworn in, family and friends of the newly sworn in judicial officers, both who are present and viewing the ceremony online, staff of the King's House, representatives of the Court Administration Division, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, happy Easter to you all. Your Excellency, let me firstly, on behalf of all present and those viewing online, express thanks to you and to the staff of King's House for again hosting us this morning. We know the time, the effort, and the stress that goes into preparing, especially at this time, for these ceremonies. And so we are grateful for the exertions and the very warm welcome you have given us this morning and the kind words of encouragement. The ceremonies are important, Your Excellency, because they help to impress on the officers who have been sworn in the dignity and the importance of the office to which they are onto which they are embarking. And so we are especially grateful for your continuing efforts in this regard. The ceremonies are also very important to me personally, because for the few years that I've been privileged to witness them in person, I'm inspired by the advancement of the young professionals who have persisted in their dedication to their craft and who have made the efforts which have been recognized this morning. It is our hope, indeed our expectation, that they will not view this achievement in their respective careers as the final accomplishment, but as an opportunity to provide greater service to the judiciary and to the country. I'm able to confidently express that expectation, Your Excellency, because I have worked directly with some of them, and I can assure Your Excellency that they possess a wealth of potential, dedication, and drive to help to achieve the vision of the judiciary. I'm particularly pleased, and I hope the Chief Justice will forgive me for singling out one of the persons who will be coming to his court, but I'm particularly pleased by the appointment of Master Carla Thomas. Your Excellency, I first met her when she was a law student doing a stint at the Supreme Court as a judicial clerk. I met her again when she was working at the Court of Appeal as one of only 2 judicial clerks who were there at the time, and she performed admirably. Your Excellency, more than once, she saved me and the court embarrassment by picking up and pointing out mistakes that I had made in the preparation of judgments. I know that the Chief Justice will give further details, but I could not let the moment pass without publicly expressing my confidence that she will justify the confidence that the Judicial Service Commission has placed in her. Your Excellency, the 3 judges who have been sworn in this morning to act in the Court of Appeal are exemplars of that potential dedication and drive that I spoke about. All of them have had the pleasure of working with, and the Honorable Justice Dunbar Green has been especially close insofar as she has, for the past 2 terms, worked in the Court of Appeal. So I know her work firsthand, the quality and the effort that goes into it. She has shown, Your Excellency, her ability to produce judgments in a timely fashion, which, as you are aware, is one of the important qualities required at this level and which the country is demanding. Her antecedents as a teacher, resident magistrate, and judge of the Supreme Court have helped to shape her as a fine judicial officer, and we look forward to her continued presence in the court. Your Excellency, the Honorable Justice Evan Brown is also multifaceted, having worked in journalism as well as in the court. He is one of those judicial officers that has worked his way up from the ground level to his current achievement. He started working in the courts even before he qualified as an attorney at law. After qualifying, he returned to the public service and has been a clerk of courts, resident magistrate, and then judge of the Supreme Court. As a member of the diminishing cadre of male judicial officers, we are looking forward to his presence in keeping some balance at the Court of Appeal. And Your Excellency, I don't mean to imply that there is any affirmative action in the decision of the Judicial Service Commission, but we know that Justice Brown has demonstrated through his work and worth that he is amply qualified and deserving of this opportunity. Your Excellency will also bring a level of dress style and panache to the Court of Appeal, which will only be matched by our own Justice David Fraser. The Honorable Justice Brown Beckford's career has followed a slightly different path from most judicial officers. After qualifying as an attorney at law, she went into private practice and eventually was co-founder of a law partnership where she managed as the managing partner for several years. She joined the judiciary as a resident magistrate and distinguished herself at that level. She served as president of the Association of Resident Magistrates for 5 years, achieving during her tenure several advancements for the office of resident magistrate, as the office was then known, including the steps which have brought about the renaming to the judge of the parish court. Not one to rest on past achievements, Justice Brown Beckford has sought and secured higher education. She holds a master's degree in business administration and a certificate of qualification from the National Committee of Accreditation in Canada. She's also a fellow of the Commonwealth Judicial Education Institute. Your Excellency, I expect that these short descriptions of the careers of these dedicated judicial officers will give you a hint of the quality that they will bring to the Court of Appeal. We look forward to welcoming Justices Brown and Brown Beckford and working with all three justices in achieving the aim of the judiciary, becoming one of the best in the world in the very near future. So, I wish to again congratulate all the persons appointed this morning, whether to act in the relevant post or as permanent appointment. We look forward to your continued efforts to achieve personal and judicial excellence. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Chief Justice, colleagues, family, and friends. Good morning.
Your Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General, the Honorable Mr. Justice Patrick Brooks, President of the Court of Appeal, the judges of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, and judges of the Parish Court, the Reverend Asta Carlisle, Pastor, Webster Memorial United Church, families and friends of those judicial officers who have been sworn in, and members of the media who are carrying this broadcast to people of Jamaica, and both here and in the diaspora and in other parts of the world. This morning is again a reminder and affirmation of the importance of the rule of law and the judiciary as an integral part of the governance structure of Jamaica. And so these ceremonies remind us of the independence of the judiciary, but not the isolation of the judiciary from the other arms of government. And it is by these ceremonies and others that we affirm our commitment to the rule of law as reflected by the oaths that are taken. And so I wish to extend my congratulations to all the judicial officers here who have been sworn in this morning, and they have, by their work and worth, demonstrated their commitment to upholding the words and the spirit of the oaths they have taken. Let me thank His Excellency for accommodating us here this morning, having since last year responded to the desire of judges to be in the hallowed halls of King's House for such an important milestone in their career. Now, the judges who are being sworn in this morning as judges of appeal, this means that the Court of Appeal will now have its full complement of 13 judges. And there are 12 judicial clerks. They're almost one-to-one, but we'll eventually have it as a one-to-one. And so with 13 judges and 12 clerks, it is expected that the productivity of the court will increase, and eventually the clearance rate, which is a key productivity matrix, will exceed 100%. At present, as in end of 2020, the Court of Appeal improved its productivity significantly by clearing 181 appeals for every 100 appeals coming in. And this represents an 11% increase over what was there in 2019. And the whole point of getting to 100 or more is that is how we will know when we are dealing with a backlog of appeals. Because if it's just once you're less than 100, it means that you're carrying a backlog. If you're at 100 and it's 1 for 1, if you have a backlog, and then when you get over 100 now, then you know that you're keeping up with cases coming in and also dealing with cases that are there before. And so it is not just about the qualitative part of it, but there's a quantitative dimension to it as well. And so we try to keep the balance between both the quantitative and the qualitative, because the ultimate purpose of courts is to hear and determine cases. That is why we have been established. And so, digging deeper into the performance of the Court of Appeal, we now know that the Court of Appeal is disposing of roughly 68% of cases within 6 months of the cases being heard. And so that again is an important marker of the productivity of the courts. And so it is expected now that with the 13 judges and 12 judicial clerks, and with these 3 judges who have been added this morning, who have established themselves as productive judges in the trial courts, and to the best of my knowledge at this point, none of the judges here have any outstanding matters in the Supreme Court, or if they do, it's not more than 1 or 2. And this they have demonstrated over several years. So it is both on their part, the self-management, management of their courts, management of their cases, so that after many years in the Supreme Court, they are now in the position where they have done excellently both on the qualitative side and on the quantitative side, because their judgments have reached, in the opinion of all those who have read them, the required quality for them to be considered to be asked to act in the Court of Appeal. So what this means, Your Excellency, is that the Court of Appeal is on course to becoming one of the most productive courts of appeal within the region. That's what that means. And so it is expected that certainly within the next 12 to 36 months, we will become the leading court of appeal within the region. Now, a lot of the work of the Court of Appeal is dependent on the transcripts that come from the trial courts. And for those who have been following the news over the last few weeks, that issue has come to the fore, both from the Supreme Court and also from the parish courts. Now, with respect of the parish courts, there's a structural problem there. What has happened is that the number of judges has increased without the necessary support going into it to ensure that the judgments or the decisions or the notes of evidence are prepared in a timely manner. So that is being addressed. In respect of the Supreme Court, particularly on the criminal side, the court reporting unit, I think, is not as efficient as it could be. We have a number of practices there that really need to be changed in order to become more productive, and also the upskilling of court reporters within the unit. You have some excellent ones there, but you also have court reporters who need to embrace the new vision and the trajectory and the path that we have taken in order to serve the people of Jamaica better. Now, Your Excellency, we have 2 judges who have been appointed to serve in the Supreme Court. Her Honor, Mrs. Lawrence Granger, she was a prosecutor and in private practice and distinguished herself as a then resident magistrate, now judge of the parish court, and a senior parish court judge, or senior judge of the parish court, to give it its proper title, in the parish of St. Elizabeth. And so we have Mrs. Mott Tuller Reed, who will be acting for the first time. And she comes to us from a slightly different background as an academic and a course director at the law school, as well as being a private practitioner. And like Mrs. Brown Beckford, I won't say she has a master's in business administration, but she has been busy improving her quality of mind, and that will be reflected and has been reflected in the work that she has been doing as master in chambers for the past year and a half. And in that post, she has distinguished herself. So what is it that they'll be coming to the court, to the Supreme Court, to do now as judges of the Supreme Court? And that is now to really get some significant movement, because of the 3 courts, that is the parish courts, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, I must confess, regrettably, that the Supreme Court has been the least in terms of the performance there. I mean, that is borne out by the data. I mean, COVID notwithstanding, it is really not performing at the point or at the standard that is required. But nonetheless, there are points of improvement to note. And one of them being that the question of outstanding judgments is being addressed. And so, as at the end of 2019, the Supreme Court delivered or was delivering 234 judgments for every 100 reserved. And that is an improvement now of 45. In 2019, it was 189 judgments for every 100 reserved. So there is improvement there. But there's still the long-standing problem and complaints of far dates for cases, and further analysis of the data revealing the reasons for that, both on the civil side and on the criminal side. And that is the unacceptably high number of adjournments. And so what that is telling us is that there is still embedded an adjournment culture among lawyers, litigants, and unfortunately, some of my judicial colleagues. And it is essential that we get out of that way of thinking. And the expectation then is that these two ladies will bring the same discipline that they displayed both as master in chambers and as a judge of the parish court to the Supreme Court, where adjournments become a thing of the past and only are granted in really, really exceptional circumstances, because that's the only way that court systems become efficient and remain efficient. That when the matters are set down for trial or for hearing or for whatever the activity is, that it actually goes on that particular day. We still hear lawyers telling judges that, oh, it is only the first trial date, as if to say that in and of itself is a reason for an adjournment. And so why are you getting distressed about this? Never mind that it has been in the court system 4 years. It's actually the first time it is coming up for trial. So Judge, why are you making all this fuss? And so that is the bugbear that we still have in the Supreme Court in particular. And so it is, when I became a judge of the Supreme Court, the then Chief Justice, the Honorable Mr. Justice Lindsley Wolf, used to say at meetings, in only the way that he can, that lawyers can't give themselves adjournments. It's the judges who have to grant it. And so every adjourned case means that the judge has granted an adjournment. And so when the cases are not taken at the point at which they should be taken, and you have more cases coming in, eventually what you're going to have is trial dates 4 or 5 years down the road. And this becomes important because when we do comparisons with some of the better courts in the world, you look at Singapore, for example, they have less than half the judges that we do, with a population about twice the size. And when I say less than half, I mean between their Supreme Court and Court of Appeal, it's not more than 30. We have 53. And when you look at their annual report, they take in roughly the same amount of cases on the civil side that we do. And their trial dates and hearing of appeals are measured in terms of months, not years. So it's not a question of numbers then, whether in terms of number of cases or number of judges, because we have almost twice the number of judges that they do, and yet they are able to keep up with the caseload. And incidentally, they did all of this while still using the old rules of the Supreme Court. They are just now beginning to adopt some of the features of the civil procedure rules. So one of the key things there, if you look at the report, is the insistence that matters go on the day that they are set down for hearing. And so that is one of the critical things that we have to work on. Now, Your Excellency, we have to make special mention of the parish courts, and not that I have forgotten the other two judicial officers, Miss Carnegie and Miss Thomas, and they have come to us by different routes. So Miss Thomas was a judicial clerk, and then she went to the Attorney General's chambers, where she did excellently there, so much so that they are reluctant to release her, Your Excellency. So we had to do a bit of bargaining, and I won't say arm twisting, but I shall call it persuasion, for her to be released. Such is the value of her to that department. And we have no doubt that she will bring the same qualities that she demonstrated as a judicial clerk at a time when they had, 7 judges in the Court of Appeal and 2 judicial clerks. So she came through that period with flying colors. Then we have Ms. Carnegie, who comes to us from the Office of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel. And I dare say that in another few months, she should be awarded her PhD, since I gather that she's reading for her PhD and doing her doctoral dissertation. I'm quite sure what the topic is just yet, but an indication, Your Excellency, of the quality of mind that she has, and her years of service in the Office of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel has been known and marked by excellence. And so we expect her to translate that to the post of master. So she has come to us via an unusual route, not the route of being an advocate in the court and then in one of the major chambers, either Attorney General or the DPP's office. So we are taking a broader view of persons who can be accepted as judicial officers, because we're looking now for persons with diverse experiences, diverse backgrounds, because all can add value to the process and to the improvement of our judiciary. And she is known to have the capacity for hard work, diligence, and an eye for detail, as one would expect from a person who has been responsible for many years for drafting our laws and regulations. Now, the parish courts have done particularly well over the past 12 months. And this is the court now that Mrs. Wong Small comes from. And so it pleases me, Your Excellency, to indicate that Mrs. Wong Small has been the senior judge in the parish of St. James, that is at our second city in Montego Bay, for the past 5 years. Her leadership there has been exemplary, and her performance as a judge there has been absolutely outstanding, both qualitatively and quantitatively. And she has been leading by example, so that when you look at, and I must say to the judges that yes, while this is not the purpose for which the data was being collected, it can be analyzed in that way. But it shows that her rate of adjournments are low, and matters do go on and are adjourned largely for matters outside of her control. And despite being one of the busiest courts in Jamaica, she has managed that court efficiently to have it among the top performing parish courts for the last 5 years. So both significant work there personally and as the senior judge there. And it is expected, Your Excellency, that she will transfer that zeal and exemplary work to the Supreme Court. The other thing that I'll mention about the parish courts on the criminal side is something we don't speak about much, because we tend only to focus on the negative things. That according to our statistician, 88% of the criminal cases in the parish courts are disposed of within 24 months. And that is an outstanding performance by any measure. So we're now looking at the roughly 11% of cases to find out why. We know where they are, so it's a matter of examining them more closely now to find out why it is that those cases are not being disposed of within 24 months. And so what this means, Your Excellency, is that as far as the parish courts and the criminal side are concerned, they are on course to becoming backlog-free within the next 24 to 36 months. And what we do know with absolute certainty is that with the cases coming in from 2016 to now, less than 2% is in backlog. What is the significance of that? The significance of that is this, that globally, a court carrying a 10% backlog is considered not too bad and in some places acceptable. The parish courts are at below 2% for cases coming in over the last 5 years. And if that is sustained, it means that we will be among one of the best courts in the world globally on that, on the criminal side. And so that ought to be recognized. So I close by congratulating all the judges and judicial officers who have been sworn in this morning. And we look forward to the continuation of the excellent work that you have done in your previous assignments. And with that zeal and commitment, we know that our judiciary will continue its onward march to becoming the best in the Caribbean in 3 years, now 2.5, I would think, and one of the best globally in 6 years, both qualitatively and quantitatively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Sykes, for your usually insightful remarks. And thank you too, Honorable Mr. Justice Brooks, who spoke before. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Dunbar Green will now respond on behalf of the judges who have been sworn in.
Your Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Honorable President of the Court of Appeal, Mr. Justice Patrick Brooks, Honorable Judges of Appeal, the Supreme Court and the Parish Courts, the Most Reverend Asta Carlyle, Master of Ceremonies, family members, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My fellow appointees and I are deeply touched and inspired by the words of congratulations and encouragement that we have heard. We are buoyed by the confidence that has been placed in us and commit an unswerving resolve to honor that trust. To our family members and friends, we say thank you for being our most important support system. You, more than any other, know that inasmuch as this ceremony marks a professional milestone, it can also be an overwhelming experience because of the weight of the responsibility and duty with which we have been entrusted, embodied in the judicial oaths we have taken. Those were not just words that we read. It was a solemn commitment to uphold the Constitution of Jamaica and to discharge justice to all without fear or favor. We will do so with quiet determination, without fanfare, and consistent with the abiding principles of the judiciary. Your Excellency, it is not lost on us that these appointments are being made at a time of unprecedented challenge. The operating systems of society are being changed by technologies such as machine learning and artificial intelligence. At the same time, we are being brought to our knees by a pandemic that seems bent on mimicking the Black Death of the mid-14th century. It is in moments such as these, more than ever, that our justice system must retain the public's trust. In the result, there is an increasing expectation for arduous duty, that the dispensation of justice should be swifter, more accessible, and operate with the most latent transparency. These demands require judges to work even harder. And with increasing caseloads that make late nights, weekends, and holidays normal work periods, much of it at the expense of our families who suffer quietly and to whom we are heavily indebted and grateful. But we also see the big picture, that the challenging times bring a great opportunity to shape the future. So we do not appropriate the past of slow and inefficient systems and procedures. And so, Your Excellency, the Honorable Mrs. Mott Tollereed, the Honorable Mrs. Lawrence Granger, and the Honorable Mrs. Wong Small, along with the Honorable Miss Thomas and the Honorable Miss Carnegie, are well aware that they are acting in the Supreme Court at a time when their collective experience can be put to improving its operations and advancing the reforms in the transformational roadmap that has been laid out by the Chief Justice. On their behalf, I assure you of their readiness to meet these high aspirations. The same is conveyed on behalf of the Honorable Mr. Justice Evan Brown, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Crescencia Brown-Beckford, and I, who understand only too well that in acting as appellate judges, we must be exemplars, and the intellectual muster of a well-functioning, respected system of justice that is the wellspring of our young, strong, free, and democratic society. On a personal note, I wish to express my deepest respect, regard, and appreciation to the President, judges, and staff of the Court of Appeal who have made my tenure over the last 2 terms a welcoming and rewarding experience. I look forward to the continuation of their guidance and support, and confidently assert that this will also be the experience of the Honorable Mr. Justice Brown and the Honorable Mrs. Brown-Beckford as they join the court. Once again, thank you, Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable President, and most of all, you, Your Excellency, for the modesty of your demeanor, astute guidance which made us comfortable throughout these proceedings, and for graciously accommodating us here at King's House. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Justice Dunbar Green, and congratulations to you and your colleagues once more on your new appointments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this morning's function. On behalf of His Excellency the Governor General, I thank you for attending this important ceremony as a mark of your support for the judges who have been sworn in and of our judiciary as a whole. Please continue to observe the COVID-19 protocols and stay safe. Have a great day.